Hi, coaches. Coach Angela here. We are going to get ready for our flow class. So we are going to begin in child's pose after we've set our intentions in our seated space. Child's pose, inhale, tabletop, exhale into child's pose, 5 breaths, pause in tabletop, 5 breaths, neutral spine. So that means they're tucking that pelvis, they're not rounding, they're not letting the belly drop. It's a nice neutral spine. Then we're gonna do one sun salutation B. So from here, we're just gonna tuck those toes. We're going to step all the way in to get off of those wrists. Inhale up, exhale, cactus. Inhale, swan dive forward. Exhale, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands. Step back to plank, cobra down, lifting that head. Tuck those toes, option for tabletop or plank or back to down dog right away. We're gonna inhale, right leg lifts, kneeling crescent lunge. So we're gonna pause here and we're gonna walk up. So we're in that kneeling crescent pose. You have the option to ask them to push into those hip flexors. Not getting too crazy yet because we're still getting warm. Inhaling, arms up, hold. Before we exhale, hands come through center. We're going to inhale, Skandasana on the right side. So front, left, okay? From there, we're gonna exhale, straddle forward fold, walk over the left shoulder. So we're now facing the back of our mat, okay? So the idea around today's flow is around the world, or mandalas. So we're actually going to be traveling in a circle around our mat. So we're trying to get the girls used to this traveling in the beginning for warm-up. So I'm in kneeling crescent pose here. Again, 5 breaths. Exhale, plant those hands. Forward fold. I'm gonna inhale up, vinyasa facing the back of my mat. So I'm now facing the back of my mat. Cactus, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. Cobra, lift the chin or forehead. Tuck those toes, plank, back to down dog. I'm gonna inhale, right leg again is going to step all the way through. So again, I'm facing the back of the mat with that right leg forward. So we're doing our kneeling crescent pose again. Skandasana, right side. So I've already been on this side twice now. We're going to exhale, straddle forward fold, walk over the left shoulder, left kneeling crescent pose, and we're back to the top of our mat. So we started out at the top here, right leg forward, and we made it all the way around, okay? So from there, we're going to step it all the way in, forward fold. I'm just gonna face you guys for this one. So you're now the top of my mat. Inhale, exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant those hands. We can start to add a hop this time, maybe even a chaturanga. Inhale into up dog, back to down dog. We're gonna do left leg lift, swing it all the way through, kneeling crescent, forward fold, Skandasana, the left side, straddle forward fold. We're gonna walk over our right shoulder, coming back to the back of our mat. Pause here. Step it in. We've got our vinyasa here. And again, left leg lifts, sweep it through, kneeling crescent, Skandasana, left side, straddle forward fold, and back to the top of the mat. So we just did around the world, again, with that left leg leading, winding back up to the top. So just make sure you practice that and it makes sense in your head. Once you get the idea of we're going around the world and the same leg, when you reach the top or the back of the mat, is the one that's going to lead, is what's gonna get you around, okay? So once you get that in your mind, you'll be good to go. I know it seems like a lot at first, but just practice, warm up a couple times on your mat. Make sure that whatever leg you started on at the front is the one that you start on in the back, and that's what's gonna get you back to the top. And if you mess up for whatever reason, it's not a big deal. Just make sure you correct it the next time through. Okay, so once we're back at the top of our mat, we're gonna do forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, forward fold 3 times. So we really wanna make sure that in that halfway lift, we're asking the girls to have a nice flat back, soft bend in the knees if their hamstrings are tight, block here, rest the hands on the shin, or they can have hands pressing into the earth so long as they have that flat back and they're not rounding here. So it is like a crunch for their back. They can fold Inhale, halfway lift. So take your time with that breath count. Make sure that you're giving the girls time to get into the poses and feel what it feels like. If you're rushing through, it's gonna feel like they're never able to settle in and actually feel what's supposed to be working. So if you're constantly asking them to move, kneeling crescent, back to plank, cobra, down, down, blah, 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 then they're never gonna get that burn going in their muscles. They might start sweating because they're moving fast, but they're never gonna actually have to settle in and engage the muscles that are supposed to be worked, okay? So after we've done our 3, inhale, exhale, we're going to inhale, reverse swan dive, and right-legged staff pose. So right leg staff pose here. We're going to open arm twist and hold 10 breaths. So we're opening in that open arm twist, 10 breaths, come back through center, and then we're gonna repeat second side. So lift the leg, left leg, and open arm twist, 10 breaths, come back through center. Exhale, we're going to swan dive forward, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, plant the hands, jump or step back, lower down, cobra or chaturanga, and then back to down dog. From here, inhale, right leg, knee to triceps 4 times. So you have the option here to give them a little bit of time to work on hurdler's pose. So if you want to take the time to break it down, I encourage you to, because our ladies love to be challenged in flow. So they're either here, exhaling, really pressing that tricep into, or their knee into their tricep, or they're gonna carry it all the way through, plant it, drop down, almost like they're gonna do a tricep push-up and lift the back leg. So this is hurdler's pose. So it's really important that you teach them that they gather momentum here, powerful, drop, and lift, okay? Ugh, I'm really tired after that class, that was hard. But just making sure that the left arm, their supporting arm, they're resting on that tricep just like they were doing chaturangas. So they should be familiar with that. And then this is their shelf that the back knee pops up on. So practice hurdlers yourself. It's okay if the head hits the floor. By hit, I mean it rests gently. That's fine. But eventually you want to be able to have some space in between there. That's super challenging. And then they don't have to kick the knee out to start. They can just practice kicking the back leg up. Eventually kicking the front leg out is what's going to help counterbalance them, because it's taking their body that way while the back leg is pulling them back this way. So it's actually much easier to kick the leg out when you're comfortable with it. So from there, from our hurdlers, so if your girls are in hurdlers, they come back through center, down dog, and step it all the way through. Inhale, right side crescent pose. We hold here for at least 5 breaths. So this is the first time that we're up off of that back knee. It's really important that you talk about squaring the hips. Drop down into that front leg. Light up the back leg, shoulders settle, and breathe. Exhale into warrior 2. Give them time to situate their feet, rotating that front knee open. Front heel ticks in slightly. From warrior 2, we're going to exhale into wide-legged straddle forward fold. From here, we're gonna inhale, flat back, all the way up. So we inhale first, halfway lift, and then we're gonna bring hands to hips, all the way up. We're gonna face the back of our mat, left leg leading into warrior 1. So we're coming up into that 5-pointed star, rotate the back foot in slightly, and front leg lunges forward and back on swings, okay? So we're gonna go warrior 1 to the back of the mat. 5 breaths. Exhale here, warrior 3. 5 breaths, okay? And then we're going to meet in forward fold. So we have our vinyasa here. And we're gonna repeat that again. So remember, we started on our right leg lifts, knee to tricep or hurdler's pose. Plant it in between the hands. Crescent, warrior 2. Then we're gonna exhale into that wide-legged straddle fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to hips. Slowly come up, 5-pointed star. Rotate front leg again this time to face the front of the mat. Back foot into warrior 1, going down. And then we're going to swing it around. Warrior 1, warrior 3, and then forward fold. So we just made it all the way around our mat, doing that crescent, warrior 2, straddle, warrior 1 facing the back of the mat, warrior 3 facing the back of the mat, okay? So then you'll repeat second side left leg. Okay, so just remember to lead with that left leg the whole time, and that's what's gonna help you when you reach the back of the mat. So we've gone around the world 2 times. Awesome! That rates a clap in class to let your girls know they've gone around the world. So now, what we're gonna do, just making sure I didn't miss any exercises, you have the option to add in triangle or half moon. So let's say you get through and it's only 30 on the clock, which I would be highly surprised, but if so, you have the option to go through one more time around the world each side. You can add in that triangle and half moon. So when you would add in that triangle and half moon, and we would actually do it before, triangle would be right after our warrior 2. So if we're here for our warrior 2, we're gonna straighten that front leg, we're gonna reach forward, we're gonna bring the right hand to the shin, and we're gonna open up. So we're in that triangle. So then our release would be all the way into that straddle forward fold. Okay, we pause here, we inhale up, nice flat back. We rotate to the back of the room, warrior 1, warrior 3, and then half moon from here, releases forward. Okay, so triangle would be after your warrior 2, half moon would be after your warrior 3. I hope that makes sense. So then we're gonna have inversion work. So you're going to give them 2 minutes for inversion work. They can practice kick-ups. So they're here on their mat, just practicing that kick up. Okay, trying to get comfortable having all that weight on their shoulders. You can review headstands or offer the wall for handstands. So it is scary to do inversions, so it's really important that you have plenty of space, that you teach them about rolling out when we're doing headstands. Same with crow. So if we're doing a headstand, we're actually going to start like we were in a crow. They're gonna look out over a cliff, dive, 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 tuck the chin. So now I have this perfect shell. I should have an L in my hands from my wrist to elbows, elbows to shoulders, and then I can start to lift and kick the legs up, straight up into my headstand. So if, for whatever reason, I had to roll out of this, or they would just tuck their knees to come down, or they would tuck their chin and roll straight out over the top of their mat. So I think a lot of women get scared because it does hurt the head, so they can roll up their mat if you have a really hard floor. If you're on a gymnastics floor or a soccer field, it's a different story. So just make sure that you're being mindful of that and you're thinking ahead for what might be potentially harmful, because that is a lot of pressure on their head, especially if they don't have that perfect shelf to support their body, okay? 2 minutes, so give them time, 2 minutes, practice inversions. The worst thing in the world is to talk about inversions and getting out of your comfort zone and give them 30 seconds to do it, because most women need 30 seconds just to build up the courage to practice. So make sure you give them that time. So we'll meet at the top of our mat, exhale, forward fold, infinity grip. So we're going to bring right hand around to the left, left to the right, and hold. So bend the knees for any women who might have tight hamstrings, tuck the chin and straighten the legs out as they go. Oh, and I forgot to grab my block, so sorry. Our ab series, we did this a couple of weeks ago, I think. So if I have my mat or my block, I'm going to have it resting right here on my knees and my elbows pressing into it, holding my head. So from here, I lift my shoulders, I tuck my pelvis, I'm pushing knees into the block and elbows into the block. Hold for 30, and then we're gonna do the bicycles, 30 seconds, holding elbows, keeping that block stable, and then again, 30 seconds of dead bug hold. Then we're gonna release, bridge 3 rounds, option for supported bridge, block under those glutes, under their sit bones actually, to keep those hips supported. And what that helps do is release tight lower back muscles. So I always love to get the option for bridge, but then really encourage a supported bridge, because it can be so restful on the low back and really protect from injury. Full body release, supine twist, so we'll twist over, and then Savasana.